So this song is called River, and it's by me and my friend Petteri Sariola and his side project James Tone. Basically, whenever we work together, we're trying to make a version of like an old song that we love, or like not any song in particular, but just like a mood from the past that we really love, and we're trying to make our own version of it. And like you can definitely tell like some of the influences behind this song, and then when I get that song, when I get the parts to that song, then I flip it on its head and like try to make a more modern version, or like a flip of it that feels more like me. But I really love the process of like reverse engineering old songs and like trying to figure out like what's going on in the production, what's going on in like the harmony and the songwriting and all that. And like also the musicianship on those old records, like how these session musicians were finding these little parts that would like fill different parts of the spectrum. Because a lot of the times these days it's just the producer who has to like kind of come up with all of that. But like back in the 80s, like you would have all these incredible musicians coming in and like they would hear the song or like a demo of the song, and then they would come up with their own parts and like their own counter melodies to the song. And like that's something that I really try to do, is like try to find counter melodies and instrumental parts that are hooky and interesting on their own. And that, like, yeah, definitely like people like Steve Lukather or Greg Fillinganes are a big inspiration for me, because like when you listen to their parts, they're almost like little songs within the songs, and they just have like such strong identity to the song, and like their parts really make the song, even though the writing and the vocal performance is obviously fantastic on all those 80s records that they play on. So yeah, let's dive into the production. So here, what I have here is the sort of the 80s song, and we can take a listen to that. I don't have the original project because we did that on Petteri's computer, so I only have the stems from that session, but I can still walk you through what we did that day.
I miss your love and the way you hold me. I miss your love. I'm a river to your sea. All the feelings getting stronger. Don't keep me waiting any longer. You know my heart beats for you, so tell me if you're feeling the same way too. Oh, I miss your love.
Sweet. So that's very, yeah, I guess we're like inspired by, I don't know, Spandau Ballet and Phil Collins, and yeah, a lot of those, yeah, sort of very syrupy 80s songs. So this one would have started, I think we started with the drums. Drum loop that they programmed, and then there's some percussion. Some snaps and tambourines and stuff. And then I think the first thing musically that we did was this Juno part that I think I played on Petteri's Juno 60. And he played this amazing bass line. Yeah, there's something like, it's just incredibly well played. Like I think I came up with the like little melody, but like the way he plays it is just so perfect. Like, have a listen to it. And then there's some guitars. I think the muted guitar is me, and then the high guitar might also be me. I'm not sure, actually. This is the high guitar in the B part is definitely Petteri, but I think the other guitars might be me. So yeah, that's the instrumental. And then we wrote the vocal together, and Petteri is singing it beautifully.
I miss your love and the way you hold me. I miss your love.
Some backing vocals.
I miss your love. Oh, the feeling's getting stronger. Don't keep me waiting any longer. You know my heart beats for you. So tell me if you feel in the same way too. Oh.
And an incredible guitar solo to top it off. Courtesy of Petteri once again. So that's sort of the old 80s song that we did. And then, yeah, after that, it came time to, yeah, he gave me all the parts and then I just went to work with it. So there's the project for the finished version of River, which was called, yeah, I Miss Your Love for the sort of the 80s version. And then, yeah, I just ended up calling it River because that's more interesting. Not that many tracks, or I guess 57, whatever. If you think that's a lot, maybe I have a problem. But there's really not that much going on. And a lot of it is just like little drum layers and stuff. So I have the full song bounced down here, and it's sped up from the original 99 BPM to 112. And yeah, I used the beats mode on Ableton to speed it up, which kind of makes it sound a little funny, like it's like almost like chopping it up a little bit, but I like the texture that gives you. Especially the vocal kind of gets a little funny. So yeah, I was really inspired by people like Sebastian on Ed Banger. Yeah, just kind of like the way they treat samples and like it's like really, or like New Jack by Justice, like the way that like the sample is chopped up is like very much in that realm. But the fun thing is that I got to make the sample myself as well. So there's the sample chopped up, and yeah, a lot of the sort of the effect comes from, well, there's a lot going on here. So basically, let's have a listen to the vocal or the sample without the effects. So it's not like terribly exciting like that. So yeah, a big part of the sound is like the chops combined with the processing of the sample. And yeah, there's something about like psychologically for me, what's interesting is sort of the like when you combine something that's like so over compressed and like really squashed to death, but then you have these like really hard chops. So you have like these very like parts where there's a lot of information and everything is kind of like in your face, and then it gets really silent and like this like interplay. I've just always loved that sound. So yeah, that's what I'm going for here. So let's have a look here. Let's start from the top. So the first thing is Wolf compressor, which is really like a big part of the sound here. Well, you can't really tell yet, but like it's like that's kind of like what's squashing it. So let's have a little A and B. That's with it, and then if I take it off, yeah, it's not a night and day difference, but it's just like it getting squashed like from the beginning like that. It ends up making a big difference down the line. So then we have OTT, the original OTT that's built into Ableton. And that's just kind of, yeah, if I like take off the Wolf compressor and OTT and bring him back, like you can see that, like, or hear rather, that like, it just kind of like gets squashed in a very pleasing way to my ears. Like it's just like, it's a little tubby and like round without this processing. And then when you bring it on, it's just kind of like, yeah, puts it in its place. One more time. And I bring it back in. Then there's some EQ. Some... Yeah, just taking out the low end because I have a separate bass track. Even though the bass is in the sample, I'm also bringing it in on a separate track. So I'm taking out the bass from this track so they don't interfere. Then there's a spectral shaper. Kind of just clearing out some of the, because I did a boost at like 3K. I'm kind of, yeah, this is taking out like some of the 4 to 6K area, just kind of like reining it in. Then there's this, which is erosion, I think. Yeah, erosion, which is Ableton native plugin. It's called Hiss now because that's the name of the preset. Then there's some sketch cassette. And this is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So there's like this noise reduction compressor, which is like, I guess, emulating the old Dolby processing, which is just like a kind of another version of the OTT trick, but it's just like, yeah, it just brings out a lot of detail. And also at the same time, the tape thing also kind of loses the detail. So it's just kind of like this amalgamation of things that are getting done to it. Then my favorite plugin ever, Sausage Fattener. So yeah, now we're getting into the territory where it's like, yeah, it gets really in your face. Then an EQ. Taking out a little bit of the lows and the highs and some 5K, nothing major. So that's with everything. It sounds like this. And yeah, a little bit of sidechaining from LFO tool. And when it comes to like these chops, like there's no method for it. I just like try cutting out some certain things and like try to find these pockets where the groove makes sense to me. So that's the sample. Then there's the bass. And here, the fact that like it's played so well, it really helps a lot because I'm bringing out a lot of the detail in the bass as well. Like it's really bright. This thing is bringing out a lot of the high mids and also the lows. And if it wasn't played as well as it is, then it would just sound like a mess. But now it just sounds cool. Because Petteri is so good. Yeah, so that's the sample and the bass together. And then we can look at the drums. I guess this is like, yeah, it's these two drum loops that are really like carrying the thing, which are both from Mix Ready samples. The pack is called Roulette, which is like this amazing French house pack that he has. Shout out Mix Ready. And then it's one of my own kicks, looks like. And then there's this Monsieur Oizo from his sample pack. It's just like this, yeah, brings out this air in the drums. And there's a Lin drum snare that goes like this. Very punchy. And that's pretty much the drums. Then there's some additional percussion that comes in like halfway through. Just kind of like, yeah, helps it keep moving. An open hat. Then we go into the B part. And the processing here is similar for the sample, but there's also like this like comb filter, or I guess like a phase flipped flanger that's going on. That kind of gives it this like underwater feeling almost. And here you can like really hear what I mean about the sort of the importance of like interesting musical parts, because like without the bass line, this part is just kind of boring. But then, yeah, when you bring the bass in, it just kind of like, yeah, it makes you move, which. There's a little drum fill there with some string reverb, I guess. Yep. Space Echo Spring. Then there's the one more breakdown, which is where we add some of the synth stuff. Yeah, kind of just adding a little bit of atmosphere while the sample is playing like more filtered. And here there's a little more going on. Yeah, there's fun little arpeggios played through effect tricks, which is like adds a little bit of like, yeah, texture. That no one will probably ever hear, but it's there and it's adding a little bit of like, yeah, juice. But now you get to hear them. Yeah. I wonder what this is. I think this is played through, yeah, I can see here that it's played through my pedal board. So yeah, it's something like a synth part that's being played through my pedal board to kind of give it this a little bit of like this wonkiness. I'm not sure which synth it would have come from. Yeah, when it comes to like the guitar solo and like the actual mixing of the song, like I'm just raw dogging it with the sample. Like I'm just using the main full sample all the way through. I don't care. It's like it has all these drums and stuff going on in it. I think it's just like fun to have for texture anyway. Because like if I was sampling a real 80s record, I would be doing the same thing. Like I wouldn't be able to have the stems. I guess now with AI you could try to like extract some of the stems, but yeah, traditionally you would not have the stems. You would just have the full master. So me even having the bass separate like this, like yeah, it's usually you would not have that, but like obviously it's a great luxury that I can do that. But for the most part in this song, like I'm just using the main version of the old song, and yeah, like all the guitar solo and all like the vocal and everything is just baked in there, and I'm not really doing anything special to like try to bring them up. I'm just kind of like building the track around the sample to make sure all the parts in it come through as they should. So yeah, that's pretty much the song. There's like some additional, I had no idea that this was even there. Wow. This percussion thing, some kibasa, some clave. Yeah, these are all, yeah, just kind of bringing a little bit more movement. And it's the same thing here that I mentioned on the other song, where it's kind of like, I'm trying to be sneaky and like trying to grow the song throughout the whatever 3 minutes that it takes. But like, yeah, all these little layers end up coming in, but you don't really notice it like getting that much different. It's just like kind of, yeah, finding these little layers that like work with the song. So yeah, after that, it's just kind of, after the guitar solo, the song goes into the sample one more time and then it just fades out. Because there's so much compression, like the fade out is very immediate, but like the compression kind of keeps the song alive. Yeah, like it's already quiet here, but it still goes on for a little longer. One more thing that we can talk about is the bus processing here. So on the drum bus that I have not named, I'm so bad at naming things. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. Yeah, nothing is named. Or like I'll try to name the sample main and the bass, but like other than that, everything is kind of just like, yeah, 27 group, which is the drums. I can just tell from looking at it. Cutting a little bit of 5K here. Nothing major. This doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't look at this and go like, oh, he cuts on his drum bass, he cuts 5K and boosts 40 hertz. Like, this is not what this is for. I'm just like interested in myself. Yeah, like whenever you see somebody showing settings like this, like it's not like the reason I did it in this song was because this song and this arrangement and this sample needed it. Like, I'm not doing this every time, or I'm not using this exact plugin all the time. Like, yeah, these are all just tools. What you should be focusing on is just like, being able to be mindful of like actually listening to the song and like figuring out how you're feeling and like if there's something in between what like, yeah, if you're like in search of a feeling, try to like find whatever takes you to that feeling. And like this is a dance song, like this should make you move. So that's why I have the bass that's doing all these like syncopated 16th notes. That's why I have that like really upfront and loud. It's because that's the kind of stuff that makes you move. It's like these really chunky drums and then this like syncopated bass against those chunky drums. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is like this technical stuff doesn't really matter. It's just like what you're trying to achieve with it is the important part. And like some of these things, like this clipper, for example, that I have on the drums, like the purpose of that is like when you're dancing and having a good time, like you don't want the transient of the drum to like cause you to have a bad time and like be too loud and annoying. So like a lot of this stuff is just like, how do I make this song sound less annoying? And that's, I guess, the purpose of both this 5K cut and this 40 hertz boost and also this like clipper move that I made is just like kind of tuck the drums in more, like make them sound a little warmer. Then there's also the stereo bus, which also doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway because it's my song and I get to. So basically what's going on here is on my master bus, there's these two racks and this rack is what I would turn on to like bounce a version for myself and it's just clipping and limiting. But I would take that off when sending it to mastering because yeah, it can be a good idea, but usually it's not a good idea to like send things that are like really squashed and limited to mastering because then they can't really do anything. And I'm going to give a shout out to Misja at 24 Mastering, who did a fantastic job on the final master of the song, which I don't have here. There's just the project, but the version that's out on streaming and stuff, it sounds a lot better than what I have here. But this stuff is still baked in, so I guess it's worth showing. So if I take off everything, or let me play with it first, and then I'll take out the master processing. All right, so now I'm gonna play with the bass processing on, and I've been playing the whole song with the bass processing on up until this point. So now, and like usually that's the way I work. I start putting stuff on the masters at some point, and then I don't take it out after that, because then I'm working into that chain. If I take out the chain, then like everything just like all the balances feel wrong. Usually I don't have this much stuff going on, but like for whatever reason, it just ended up there. So I'm gonna play it with it and then without it. And now taking it out. So yeah, you can tell that the bass processing is really hitting the song quite hard, and like especially the drums came up a lot. So let's see what's going on here. So the first thing is Arturia compressor. This is the Neve 33609 type thing going on, which I guess is like, yeah, it's an interesting choice. I don't know why I did it, but yeah, I don't typically use this on the master, but for whatever reason, I ended up using it on the master here. So yeah, you can hear that, like, especially the snare drum and the drums in general, like, you just kind of like, when I switch it in and out, I'm gonna start with it in and then take it out and then put it back in. You can really hear that, like, yeah, what the drums do. Without this, the drums are just kind of like abrasive, and then when you put this in, the drums kind of start breathing with the rest of the track. So have a listen. So now it's in, and now I'm taking it out. Yeah, it's not a night and day difference, but it's there for sure. So then after that, there's these guys. Wow, that's a big move. Yeah, normally I would not like recommend a 4 dB boost on a master bass, but I did it. Here we are. doing, let's see here. Yeah, I was just listening to like Sebastian's Arabesque, which is a great song. And like his stuff is just like so abrasive and in your face that like I guess I felt the need to like yeah, try to make my thing compete. So and it's not like you shouldn't be personally, I don't try to make my thing sound exactly like his, but there's something about the energy of that song, Arabesque by Sebastian, that like just like it's so cool to me, and like the way it's like way over the top and like way in your face. That yeah, I was trying to capture, and like for whatever reason, yeah, I felt that this brought me closer to that energy. Then after that, there's more compression. Oh yeah, let's have a little A and B with the Spectre on. Yeah, I guess, yeah, now that when you take it off, the whole thing just feels like wimpy and weak. Yeah, definitely a little over the top, but I kind of fuck with it. Then there's this. More compression. Let's try with it and without it. That's with it, and then take it out. Yeah, it kind of tucks the drums back even more, which is cool, because they were so loud to begin with. Again, it's not a night and day difference, but then when you like add up, if all of these do like a little bit, but then when you add all of them in, like let's do that A and B in a second. Then there's this gut particle. Which is once again like I'm doing like these crazy moves. Like I'm another 3 dB on the high EQ here, and another 2 dB on the lows. Like I don't know why I'm doing these moves. Like I wouldn't know, but for whatever reason I did. 114% on the amount. Like these are like, yeah, but I also like try not to care about the numbers. I just try to care about like how it makes me feel, how it makes me feel in the moment when I'm making it, and then I never like. I try not to like second guess myself. Like if I felt good in the moment, I'm never going to be in that moment again. And if I don't know, like if I try to like over intellectualize it, like if I try to be like, is this too much? Is the 3 dB boost like really necessary? Like I don't care. Like it made me feel good in the moment when I was making it, and that's all that matters. Like really, that's all that matters. So yeah, I try to just make the moves that I need to make in the moment, and then don't come back to them unless there's something wrong with the song. Yeah. Then there's an endless smile, which I don't think is in use. Yeah, it's not in use, so we don't need to. I mean, I just like to have this little guy in my master bus, even if I'm not using it. He makes me feel validated. But yeah, it's not doing anything. It's still there. I guess I was doing it, like using it for like a build up at some point, but I didn't end up doing it. Then there's bit shift gain, which just takes down the output by 6 dB in the cleanest possible way. And one more thing, which is multi-pass, which is a kilohertz plugin. Let's see what it's doing here. More compression. So this is actually a nice effect. If you listen, like sort of, especially what it does in the lower mids, it just kind of like puts them in this package that just like, I don't know, for me it feels good. That's with it, and then I take it out. Yeah, and also like I have this like little expansion going on in the low mids as well, which I guess like just emphasizes the punch in the low mid. So like when it gets quieter, it actually turns it down even more. So that, I guess that also like emphasizes the choppiness of it. Yeah, I really love this combination of expansion and compression on drums, and also in the master, it seems, because it just like kind of like for the right song, it can like really like sort of like, it's almost like putting glasses on, where like it's just like the whole thing just like jumps out a little more. So that can also be, yeah, a fun thing to try it out. So that's the master chain. Let's A/B one more time. Yeah, usually I would not like rely on the master chain that much, but like for whatever reason, I think what it was partly was I started this track on headphones at my home instead of at the studio, and then when I got to the studio, I was like, this is really cool, but also it sounds really weird. And instead of like messing around with the tracks themselves, which maybe in hindsight I should have done, but I think maybe I did, and then some of the magic was gone, and then I was just like, all right, let's just try to do it on the master bus instead, and like that seemed to have accomplished what I was trying to do. So there are no rules, and don't believe anyone on the internet. Just do fun shit, and yeah, don't believe anyone who tells you anything about numbers and plugins, and like, yeah, just do what feels good, and like try to be connected. Like, it's so hard, and I struggle with it all the time, where like something annoys me, and then like I start thinking about like in terms of like numbers and like frequencies and like all this, and like I don't know, like it's so easy to like fall into this death trap of like tweaking and yeah, trying to do things that don't really matter. And like usually, like the example that I like to give is like Nirvana sounds incredible even coming out of like a tiny speaker, or like yeah, so it's like if the music is compelling enough, the mix doesn't matter, and like the mastering doesn't matter, and like the production doesn't matter. Like if like, so that's what I really try to focus on, is like just like writing interesting parts, writing interesting songs, and then the rest is just like kind of, yeah, doesn't really matter. None of this matters. None of this matters. So this song came out in the fall of 2024 with the Australian label Sweat It Out, who have been really nice and really great. Yeah, it's just been nice to like release music again, because like I feel like with Sweat It Out, it feels like they really want me to be me, and like they really just want to like release what I want to do, which has been really fun and kind of a unique experience for me, really. Like just, yeah, just letting me be me, and just like whatever I want to give them, they're just like, yeah, let's put it out. So that has been a lot of fun, and yeah, to have a platform where I get to do that, that's just fantastic. So yeah, that's the story behind River by me, Lenno, and go check it out. My name is Lenno, and this is Behind the Hits.